as being us and out into the world. This is where this came in for me. I felt like for years I would have to, I was learning all this great stuff about unity and who I was, and I was connecting to my center, and it was all wonderful, and then I had to go to work. So I had to put it behind a mask. Because I don't want to get fired. I don't want to say something that's out of line. I don't want, it wasn't relevant to my employment, because I worked in the IT field for a long time, 25 years. And they didn't want to hear about this kind of stuff. Of course, this was a few years ago, right? So I put a mask on when I needed to be around my family. I had to put another mask on. Some armor sometimes too, depending on who was in the room. But it was a different mask, because, and even my father, when I told him that I was in unity, he said it was a cult and I needed to be brainwashed out of it. He's like, we had to talk you out of this. And I'm like, no, I really think you're the one that's in the cult. I didn't say that to my father, but if you're the only ones going to heaven, it's kind of an exclusive place, right? I'm not sure God's exclusive. But it was all these masks, all these different parts of me, and the whole time underneath, I'm in pain because I have a mask on my face. Can you imagine wearing a mask 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365? I mean, it is amazing how people are doing it, and not only are they wearing them, some people are hiding behind them. Oh, this is who I am. This is just who I am. So you take me or leave me. Actually, you are a part of God. You're a child of God. You can be anything you want to be. You don't have to stay in this part of it. So that's to integrate the two, to become more of who we are within unity, and understand that it's great to do it in unity, but we need to be that way outside of unity as well. And sometimes that can help us lose friends. Sometimes it helps us lose family. I've said before, I'm the black sheep of my family. Nobody talks to me. My siblings. My parents are gone, but none of my siblings talk to me because I tell the truth, because I speak the truth. And I'm not exclusive about, this person's better than that person, or this God's going to take you wherever. To me, that's not true. I know my truth, and the truth that the Fillmores taught me. Next thing he talks about is the importance of community. Sounds simple, right? You need to be in community, but is there anybody out there besides me that tried to do it on their own? For a long time, right? I struggled because I couldn't figure out why I was the only one fighting for truth. And everybody else was like, we're going with the flow. And probably 15 years ago, my sponsor told me, any dead fish can float downstream. I was like, I want that on a t-shirt. Because it's true. If you give up and you lay down, you'll just go where you're going to go. But look at the salmon fight to go where they're called to go, to their truth. Look at all these other elements in life that fight to get to their truth. I don't want to be a dead fish going down. And I want to bring my community with me, because I can live in my ownness. I can live in my own wholeness. But if I don't share that wholeness with everybody, it's an isolated life. It's one person. Not to say that there's anything wrong with nuns or monks, because I know some of them, they're my friends. But I can't imagine being in solitude all the time. This is to be shared. And even, we know that the Fillmore said that, but even Parker says it in his work. This is to be shared. And we share this with different people, because we're all different, right? And we can share it in person, like this. This is great. I love being here instead of just watching you guys on TV. Online. We can do it online, face-to-face, in groups, whatever. A lot of the unities are having like the small group stuff now. And they're having everybody pick something that they really like to do and just be a part of a spirit group, is what I believe they call it. So have you ever asked yourself, where are your people besides Unity? I know there's some quilt clubs that meet that are Unity quilt clubs. Where can you take this into another community? Because we're just trying it out, right? I am in no way near perfect. If I did that, God would probably send a bolt down. I am still a work in progress, and I know that. So where are my other people, a work in progress that I can learn from and teach and learn from and be a part of the community, because that helps our wholeness. The next one is teaching and learning for transformation. You know that you can teach Unity in cooking skills? You really can. You can do it in anything. And many years ago, I read some Thich Nhat Hanh. He said that doing the dishes mindfully, it's the same thing. It's just being aware you're doing the dishes. And I've noticed I've really gotten into that now, just as I'm doing the dishes, not thinking about anything else, and realizing I'm right here, right now. You can do it in cooking, you can do it in education, teaching people. I teach people at Poway Adult School. I teach a creative writing class, and so much Unity overflows into it. And there, and I'm not allowed to talk about church, so I use the words that the Fillmores use. It's not about church. It's about being whole and connecting to the oneness of everybody else in Christ. So in that wholeness, everybody, it just feels like everybody right now is trying to get us to separate, pull apart, fight for it. And that's not what we're supposed to do. We are peace and love in this world. So if you can take a class or give a class or whatever, look at yoga, right? Yoga's a big one. That's so much Unity right there in yoga. Practicing those skills, any martial arts like Taekwondo or, Aikido. My husband does Aikido, and he says it's a very spiritual place to be, because you're in that connection with your Christ light. I don't do it, but he seems to really love it. So where can you teach and where can you learn? Who can you learn from? So here I am, I've done all this ministry work. I've been with Unity for, almost 30 years. And I'm still learning, because I'm picking people to learn with. I'm picking people that are just a little bit further down the road, and I can start walking towards them. And in the meantime, and this is a fact of life, some of the people leave. But these people, I love them and I can let them go. If their life is different or this makes them upset, I can still love them and let them go, because we know they are the light, and they have their own journey. And how do we support them? We let them be who they are, and we keep moving. And it's the same way. There'll be people coming up to you that want, the light just came on. What is that? What were you saying? And then you befriend them and help them pull themselves closer and closer to their Christ light. So we can do that in many ways. Even in crafts, cooking, anything. Maybe pickleball. I haven't tried pickleball, but I hear there's a lot of injuries from it, so I'm not. So the next one, the fourth part of this, it says, is nonviolent social change. Now, the word nonviolent has gotten a lot of playtime over the past decade, maybe two, because everything's supposed to be nonviolent, And I understand, I've taken classes about nonviolence. It's just a way of being respectful to who you're associating with. Really, it really is no more than that. It has like 4 steps. You observe what's going on. You come to an understanding of how it makes you feel. Then you, what's the next one? I usually have them all. Then, if you don't feel that and you want to change that need, then you say, I want my needs met this way and not that way, and I'd like you to. It's like setting a boundary. Very gently, and very lovingly. And some people, again, will do it, and some people won't. I built a class for Interfaith Shelter Network with the Advocacy Companion Program. We work with homeless people and situationally homeless people, so not the ones that are on the street for chronic, but those that have just recently lost their home, mostly families. And we provide shelter through churches. So they rotate from church to church to church. So I set this program up so that we can have these, we call them advocate companions, because that's what the funder wants to say, but we coach these people. We help them along the way. We say, what do you need? Let's see if we can get it for you. They have to participate, of course. They have to be working towards something. But most of it, it's been around for like 39 years now, and it's still going strong because the faith communities are standing behind it, which is absolutely wonderful. But it's all of us working together in this. Nobody's singled out and in a silo. We don't work or live in a vacuum. And there's more to social change than the media. I know everybody's like following all the TikTok, Snapchat. I don't even know what the newest one is. TJ might know what the newest one is. I'm not that young. But everybody's trying to follow these trends. And that's not what social media is about. We're trying to help each other become who we are in a different way and be our best selves and love everybody through it. So these are the 4 steps: the integral life, the importance of the community, teaching and learning for transformation, and nonviolent social change. And it doesn't mean 25% of each. It means in all you do, try to lead an integral life. Try to be a part of the whole, with a whole community, in the oneness, right? And being in the community is important to help people, help others find. I always feel like unity is the best kept secret. And I hate that because it's still a secret. I told somebody the other day, well, I'm a unity minister, and they said, what's that? And I'm like, oh, we're such a secret. And I would really like us to be a household name, because I think that everybody could benefit from some unity in their life and living into the principles. So we're meant to live authentically, fostering supportive communities, embracing transformation through education and promoting nonviolent approaches to social change. This speaks unity. And I actually really do love that. Of course, we have our tools, then the same tools that Parker talks about: prayer, meditation, journaling. He doesn't talk about saying no. And that was a hard lesson for me to learn. Did anybody have a hard time with that one? I still sometimes go, I have one of my granddaughters that she tries to work me really good. 3 of them are teenagers. And then I have one that's preteen. But this one particularly really tries to drive me home with stuff. And she'll say, well, you said I could, remember? She knows my memory's nothing right now with all the chemotherapy. And I'm like, did I say that? So the other day she kept working me, and I was like, oh, maybe I did say that. Well, okay, then you can do it. And then her older sister walked up and said, she's lying to you. And I was like, huh? I said, you just worked me, didn't you? And she goes, Grandma, we had this conversation. I said, no, we didn't. And I knew, but it's because of what I'm going, my healing right now, I'm not really sure, because like, did I really say that? Because I have that chemo brain going on. And so she's trying, and she's really good at getting between the lines, being on the, oh, but you said, and so, yeah. But I learned to say no, and it's especially useful with teenagers. It's not a hard no like that. It's like things like, not at this time, or can you schedule that for a time when I have more time to do this? Things like that. So, but saying no's and putting up boundaries was 2 of the hardest things that I am still learning. Putting up boundaries, because especially with other people, I'd set a boundary and they'd walk over it, and I'd be, oh, cool, I can back up over here. It's okay, here's another boundary. No, they did, and then I'm doing the dance backwards all the time, and they're just crossing the boundaries. But I was, like many of you, raised that way. You know, do what you said. You're a girl, stay in your place. You know, I was raised with children are heard. Children are seen, not heard. And my father meant it to the edge of a belt. If you didn't stay away, you were in trouble. So, family and friend time. I do have family and friend time because I have family, I have siblings. I have children here that I'm raising, and of course my husband. And then occasionally I talk to one of my sister. Kind of keep her out here though, because she too tries to cross the line. But there's a little bit of a relationship there, but my friends are my family. I figured that out. I have some friends I've had for 25 years. If that's not family, who is? You know, 25-year friendship is definitely family. And time alone. That was the hardest thing my husband had to learn about me, is sometimes I just have to be alone. I need that time to recharge. And when I might be sleeping, or I might be meditating, or I might be singing and dancing, but any one of those helps me recharge and become who I am. And then still learning to play. This was a kick. I was 38 years old when a psychiatrist asked me, "What do you do for fun?" That's what I got, crickets, right? I didn't know what fun was. I knew what the kids wanted to do, and I knew what my friends wanted to do, and I knew what my husband wanted to do, but I had no idea. And my task, which took me almost 3 months, was to bring him a list of 10 things that I'd like to do that were fun. That was hard. I said, 10, can I just bring you 3? And he said, no, I want 10 because I want a variety in there. What, really? I was like, okay. So it sounds like it's something so silly, still learning to play, but the truth is I'm on go all the time. I was raised with, you can go do that when you get your chores done. As an adult, are my chores ever done? Really? So I don't get to go do that and play. So I had to learn how to do that, which was a big thing for me anyway. So in it, he says, overall, it talks about the yearning to live undivided lives. We're all yearning to do that, to be whole and to be in oneness. Lives that are congruent with our inner truth. We as unity know so much about that. We really want to connect to that. But sometimes we think we have to be something else. And the wholeness is important. In a world filled with forces of fragmentation, I don't know in my life a time that's been more fragmented than it is right now. And with World Day of Peace prayer coming, we all need to put some thought into that one. I have friends we gather and we pray just for wholeness, for our nation, for the world. Because we are leaders in many things, we don't know if we don't lead well anymore, what will happen. That's a scary part of the rest of it, right? We don't know. So we got to be less fragmented and be more whole. So where are you now? Are you in your group? Are you having fun? Are you doing what you wanted? Are you being your whole self and enjoying your life? This is probably one of the best things I like to do, is be with the animals. We're animal people, right? So we have 4 dogs right now, 2 sets that don't like each other. So we're trying to get them trained to be together, because they're the ones that we just received. We took them about maybe a month ago, 6 weeks ago. They were on their way to be put down, and I couldn't have that. So I'm not one for really jumping out and rescuing every dog, but these dogs particularly, it was nothing to do with who they were. It was because the family was done and they were moving on, and they were on their way. And I'm just like, you can't just be done. It's all about the whole, right? So they have a Christ light too. Be with them. If that's where your center is, recharge every day. So take your sense of self to places, different places. Maybe try some places you haven't been before. You know, maybe go to the library and join one of the book studies at the library and bring your wholeness, and you will see other people become more whole. You'll see their light. It's almost like you can see the light come on. It's so amazing. It's so beautiful. Because when they get it, it's like, ah, I'm waking up. Now I understand. Remember to sit down the masks and, as best as you can, be the Christ light in everything you do, so you can be whole. Eric Butterworth says this, and this is on truthunity.net. You guys know about that site. I've talked about it before. Plethora of books to download for free, all kinds of information, sermons and everything. He says, wholeness is the result of keeping our thoughts centered on the pure life of God within us. It is then that we are in conscious harmony with the rhythm and flow of the omnipresent divine life. The more we remember we are all belonging to the same whole, are always part of the same whole, and all share a common pattern designed to return us to that wholeness, the more we'll be able to attain our fullest possible development through our alignment in this world. The more of us remember and the more constant we can be in that, the better off the whole world will be, because then they will too be allowed. So in Parker's book, he says this: our return to wholeness is facilitated by knowing consciously the struggle of having transcended temporal boundaries and finding our own balance. We had to work to get this balance. We remember that we are always in the process of becoming interdependent and interconnected with others. And the slide kind of shut it off down there, but we seek to maintain a holistic view of reality as we take on wilder, all-inclusive identity and integrate more qualities, characteristics, and virtues into our thoughts and actions. Where can I be my true self? We strive to live as a whole being we are, lighting the path we walk and looking upon all things within the eye of our own wholeness. That's it. Thank you.